वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य अज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Yes, how many of you are fasting today? Can you raise your hands? Yes, Hari Bol. Kamlesh Prabhuji, Hari Bol. Please fast. Take up Ekadashi Vrata. It helps us cleanse our sins off. We can purify ourselves faster, and we can become devotees faster and faster. So Ekadashi process is like a catalyst. By doing Ekadashi, we become favorite to the Lord, and because Ekadashi, the day in itself, is very favorite for the Lord, and everything we do on Ekadashi is going to be auspicious. It's going to have double effect. So please take up Ekadashi Vrata. If you're not able to fast, it is still fine, but chant more, do more of service, any kind of service. Okay? You can chant more, you can read more, you can sell books, gift Bhagavad Gita and other things. You can hear more about Krishna. You can, tell your family members about Krishna Katha. Something special service. You can go to a temple, some kind of a service, because it's Kamal Prabhuji, sorry, yesterday. Mataji, Ekadashi is today. Anyway, so if you download the Vaishnava calendar, you'll get the dates. It's from sunrise to sunrise, no? The tithis are considered Ekadashi, Dvadashi, all these things are considered from sunrise to sunrise. So even if you have Ekadashi coming in the middle of the day, we consider it to be on the next day. That's how Vaishnava's calendar works. Anyway, let's begin with the Kirtan. So this is called Guru Ashtakam. I think all of you know, most of you who attend the Kirtan, Mangalarati, Brahma Muhurtam Mangalarati at 4:30 in the morning. This is what we sing. So you all can attend a Mangalarati in the morning. It's online temple channel, either YouTube channel. They go live on YouTube, or you can also attend the Zoom through the Zoom links you all have. So please attend. This is what we sing in the morning. We sing this to pay our obeisances to our spiritual master, Gurudev. First comes Gurudev, then comes Krishna. Right? So because without Guru, we will not get Krishna. Krishna will not accept even if we go. First of all, we cannot reach Krishna. Even if we reach Krishna, he will not accept us if we've not gone through a guru, his senior disciple, his senior devotee. Right? Because we are not qualified. We are dasa anudasa. That's our position. We have to become dasa of the dasa of Krishna. So spiritual master is a dasa, servant of Krishna, and we are servant of Krishna. Sansara pranaya karunya ghanantvam praptatya kayana gunanamasya vande guru shri charanarvindam Mahaprabhu ki tanaditya gita वादित्रमाद्या मनसोरसेना रोमाञ्चकान्ताश्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनानाम् शृङ्गारकान्मान्दिरमजनादौ युक्तस्य भक्तांश्च नियोजतोऽपि वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्वेदा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो स्वाध्वानतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् हित्वैव तृप्तिं भजते सदैव वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिकामाधवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् कुञ्जयोनु दतिकेलिसेजै यायालिभेद्योतिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिरक्ष्यादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरेत्रेण समस्तशास्त्रै उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिया एव तस्य वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् यस्य प्रसाद नगदे गुरोऽपि ध्यायास्तु वंस्तस्य यशस्रिचन्द्रान् वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरुं श्रीचरणारविन्दम्. Translation. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy, just as a cloud pours water on the forest fire to extinguish it. So the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master who is an ocean of auspicious qualities. So here, material world is compared to fire because we are entangled in the birth, right? In the cycle of birth and death. So it's a fire. We are all getting burnt in that cycle of birth and death, suffering and suffering and suffering. So only spiritual master can come and extinguish this fire and free us out. And that is the power spiritual master has because he is not different from Krishna. Okay, Krishna and the spiritual master are not different. Krishna is the spiritual master is the representation of Krishna himself. So Krishna, in the form of Paramatma within our heart, comes in the form of spiritual master, and takes us back to Godhead. Chanting the holy name, dancing in ecstasy, singing and playing musical instruments, the spiritual master is always gladdened by the Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he is relishing the mellows of pure devotion within his mind, sometimes his hair stands on end. He feels quivering in his body and tears flow from his eyes like waves. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. Spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. He engages his disciples in such worship. They dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. The spiritual master is always offering Krishna 4 kinds of delicious food, analyzed as that which is licked, chewed, drunk, and sucked. When the spiritual master sees the devotees are satisfied by eating Bhagavad Prasad, he is satisfied too. I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. So food is divided into 4 forms. The bhog that we offer to the Lord. The food is of 4 types. Something that can be licked, something that can be chewed, drunk, and sucked. So liquid food is drunk and sucked. Okay, so spiritual master offers all these four types of food every day to the Lord and distributes it to all of us as prasadam. Um, Spiritual master is always eager to hear and chant about the unlimited conjugal pastimes of Radhika and Madhava and their qualities, names, and forms. Spiritual master appears to relish each these at every moment. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. Spiritual master is very dear because he is expert in assisting the gopis who are at different times make different tasteful arrangements for the perfection of Radha and Krishna's constantly loving affairs within the groves of Vrindavana. I offer my most humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. Spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Sri Hari Krishna. Sakshat Dharitvena. So Krishna and Krishna's devotee, that is spiritual master, are not different. They are one and the same. They are one and the same. By the mercy of spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my um, spiritual master. Yeah, so here you can see Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasado, right? So if spiritual master is not pleased, can never be pleased. How much ever we try to please Krishna, Krishna will not be pleased if his devotee is not pleased. Right? So if we want to progress in our devotional service faster, quicker, safer, better, then it is only by pleasing the spiritual master, serving the senior devotees, senior Vaishnavas of the Lord, senior devotees of the Lord. That is the only way. Because if they bless, they are pleased, they shower upon the mercy. It is through their mercy that we get bhakti or devotion and taste to do more and more devotion service. And one day we can go back home, back to Godhead. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej, right? It's through the Guru and Krishna Prasad, the mercy of Guru and Krishna. First is Guru, then Krishna. It's never Krishna Guru Prasade Pai. It's Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, right? So it's through the Guru's mercy first that we get. Guru first introduces us to spirituality, devotional service, and through that any obstacles come, Guru stands with us by our side, helps us fight with all of that. Krishna comes and protects us, and then as in how we offer our devotion service. Gradually, eventually, we get elevated and go to Krishna. So that's how the process works. So Krishna and Guru are not different from each other. Okay. Yeah. So yes, please, if you've not taken up Ekadashi Vrata yet, please start doing it. It's okay if you cannot fast. Like you can eat sabudana khichdi all the 3 times a day, 3 meal a day you can have. And it's just that we have to refrain from having grains, but everything else you can eat. There are a lot of things. No, you can eat salads. You can eat mixed vegetable. Uh, you know, curries and all that. It's just that you don't have to add grains to it. Okay, without grains, there are a lot of things you can prepare. If you go to ISKCON temple on Ekadashi, you get minimum 15, 16 varieties of food in your plate as prasad. All non-grain items. You can go visit there. You get an idea of what to eat and what not to eat. Like on average, 20 items will be served. Okay, so it actually is filling. We never say it is fasting. In ISKCON, there is no fasting, it is always feasting. Even on Ekadashis, even on the fasting days, we feast, right? Because there are so many varieties. I mean, there's no shortage for varieties at all. Because so many types of fruits are there, so many types of vegetables are there, right? You can make potato chips and eat, right? So see, French fries you can eat. So many things. Potatoes are allowed. Sweet potatoes are allowed. You can boil milk, make a sweet out of it. You can use jaggery. Don't use sugar. You can make jaggery sweet and eat. Right? You can have milkshakes, juices. So many things are there. It's just one day. We all can survive, right? Definitely. And do more of service, more and more of service. If you're chanting, say 16 rounds, chant 17 rounds on Ekadashi. At least one round extra. If you're reading the 2 pages every day, read 3 pages on Ekadashi. Because this day in itself is very special. Krishna just showers limitless, Krishna showers limitless mercy today, whatever you do. If you say you're hearing to one lecture today, hear 2 lectures. Whatever you do, do a little bit more of devotion service, at least on Ekadashi. Okay. Now, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Goswami Maharaj. Now, before we begin, before we continue, I have a question. Can anybody, if you can put your answer in the chat also, just list one lesson. Just name one lesson that you can take back from Srila Prabhupada's glories that we did last 3 classes. One thing that inspired you, one thing that you are adopting in your life. So many things we learned. One thing that you think is going to help you if you adopt in your spiritual life. Anything? Just relate to all the incidents that happened with Prabhupada's life and bring out the lessons. You can put your answers in the chat. What inspired you? Um I got lot of messages after the class saying, Prabhupada's story is damn inspirational. Yes. And I also got requests asking, which book do they have to read, because Leelamrita is very huge, right? You can read this, Prabhupada, the Messenger of the Supreme Lord. It looks like this. It's just one volume. It's just a one-volume book. It's nice, short capsule form. You get every detail about Prabhupada's life history, and you can read. Yes, Perseverance, Kamlesh Prabhuji. Devotion to Krishna, japa of Mula Mantra, yes. Devotion to Krishna, japa. So we already saw, right? Prabhupada had typhoid when he was a kid, and chanting, his parents sat and chanted the Harinam, and his typhoid disappeared. Perseverance, never give up, Haribol. At the age of 70, he got heart attacks consecutively, and he never gave up, right? Um, yes, age is a mere number. Good. More lessons? Okay. Think about it. You can always share in the chat. Okay. And now, who is Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Saraswati? Goswami Saraswati Maharaj, tell me. Who is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj? Who is he? We studied when we learnt Prabhupada Leela. Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji is one of the 5,
I'm not able
gurus
to
in
hear you,
terms.
Prabhuji. Can you please put it in the chat? I don't know if I'm not able to hear just you or others. I'm really not sure. Anyway, who is he? Guru of Prabhupada, yes. Haribol, he is the Guru of Prabhupada. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj is the Guru of Prabhupada. We saw this in the last class. Now, let's begin. He's also called as Lion Guru. He's called the Lion Guru because he's a scholarly personality. He's a scholar. He is a scholar. And he knows so many things. He learned so many shastras, all knowledge. He's in fact knowledge personified. Okay. And that's why he's called Lion Guru. And this is his pranam mantra. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti namine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken the shelter at his lotus feet. Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaye Kripadbhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnane Daine Prabhave Namaha. So, I offer my respectful obeisances to Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daite Dasa. So that is another name for Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is favored by Srimati Radharani and who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and deliverer of the signs of Krishna. माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाध्या श्रीरूपानुगा भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति vigrahaya namostute. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhu's mercy. He is the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So he's an incarnation of mercy. Can you imagine? Who delivers devotion service enriched with conjugal love for Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of revelation of Sri Rupa Goswami. So since Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is a follower of Rupa Goswami, he is called a Rupanuga. Okay, and since we all come in the same disciplic succession, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is a follower of Rupa Goswami. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is a Rupanuga. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's disciple is Prabhupada, and we are all Prabhupada's disciple. So the line of disciplic succession is the same. So we are all called Rupanugas. Okay, so Rupa Goswami is one of the Shed Goswami, 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. He is a direct disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We will be learning about Rupa Goswami very soon, like probably after 3-4 classes, we will be learning about Rupa Goswami. And he is, like I told, he is Rupa Manjari. He is an eternal associate of Radha and Krishna, and he has written a book called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There it's all the rules about bhakti is given. It's like a law book of ISKCON. We don't do anything, we don't follow anything which is outside that book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prabhupada has translated it into Nectar of Devotion, and we follow that. Because we are followers of Rupa Goswami in our devotional life, we are also called Rupanugas. Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Vritapa Siddhanta Dhanta Harine. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement against the teachings of devotion service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. These are all pranama mantras of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Okay. Now a little bit of background why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati came to this world, and all that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakura is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's father. So he was a magistrate, and he's a very predominant acharya in the disciplic succession. So he is also a follower of Rupa Goswami, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Anybody knows when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world? How many years ago did he come? How many years ago did he come to this world? Yeah, I'm receiving answers in the chat. He came to this world. See, Krishna came to this world 5,000 years ago. Same way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world 500 years ago. In Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, right? So it's recent. So it's just 500 years ago. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and established certain principles and taught us how to offer devotional service through Harinam, chanting, Sankirtan, and all that, right? But going forward, what happened? These teachings got, adulterated. People started misinterpreting his teachings, and they started giving it their own form. And so soon, what happened? The actual essence, the authenticity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings faded. It took a different form altogether. Even Krishna says, right, in Bhagavad Gita, Imam Vivasvata Yogam. So Krishna instructed millions and millions of years ago, the same Bhagavad Gita that he was instructing to Arjuna, he instructed it to Vivasvata, sun god, millions and millions of years ago. Then later on, he instructed it to Arjuna. Why he had to instruct it again was that the principle, the science that he instructed, actually it took a different form. People started understanding it wrong, right? The actual science as it is, the meaning was lost completely. That's why Krishna had to come again and instruct it to Arjuna, right? So the disciplic succession broke. The knowledge is always passed from the guru to the disciple, right? And when it's like Chinese whisper game. When you tell something to another person, and when that person tells the same thing to another person, that person would have modified it. Details would have got modified, and finally it goes on from one person to other, one person to other, and at the end, if you see, the last person in the circle would have received absolutely different information. first person would have told something, the last person would have would hear absolutely different information, right? It would have got modified completely. So the real message would have lost completely. So would have got lost completely. So that the same thing is happened with him as well. So that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakura wanted to re-establish the principles, the lost principles of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, because people were not understanding. The real essence had got lost already. But Bhaktivinoda Thakura could not could not re-establish the principles or the teachings of Lord Chaitanya all alone. It required a lot of work because it's Kali Yuga. It's not simple. People never agree, right? They go by their mental concoctions. They think something, they go by their philosophy. They discover their own philosophy and start living it. Right? And they are not ready to listen. Even if someone comes and educates them, we are not ready to listen. That is the way of life in Kali Yuga, right? There is a saying I remember. It's like if you are sleeping, we can wake up a person who is sleeping, but we cannot wake up a person who is pretending to be sleeping, right? Because if you're pretending to be sleeping, how much ever the other person comes and wakes you up, you will not wake up because you know you should not wake up. You know you don't want to wake up. You'll be hearing that person waking you up, but you still don't wake up, right? Same thing. That is the situation of people in Kali Yuga. Yeah, I'm so sorry. So Bhaktivinoda Thakura needed a helping hand, somebody who is profound, somebody who is very capable to help him in this mission. So he kept praying to God to help him restore the teachings and the preaching. And then he kept praying to God. He is a devotee of Lord Jagannath. He kept praying to Jagannath to give him a son who can help him, assist him in this preaching mission. So he kept praying, 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 and finally God answered through Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So when on February 6th, 1874, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was born to Bhaktivinoda Thakura in Jagannath Puri, the Vaishnavas considered him to be the answer of his father's prayers. He was the fourth son for Bhaktivinoda Thakura. So he was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck and draped across his chest like the sacred thread worn by Brahmana. So there were so many instances that happened one after the other, that proved Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was that person Bhaktivinoda Thakura was praying for. It is him. Krishna sent him specifically to assist Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so how did Krishna prove? How did Krishna show to the world that it is him? Just give me one moment. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so when he was born, right, and during his birth itself, Krishna proved that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is not an ordinary person. He is a superior Vaishnava. How? The umbilical cord, no? It was around the neck, it was wrapped around the neck and around through the abdomen. It was wrapping around him, basically, like the Yagnopavita, the sacred thread, the white thread Brahmanas wear, right? Same way, the umbilical cord was resembling that Yagnopavita, and this proved that he's a purified personality already. So we make that ceremony of Upanayanam to purify. It's like second birth to all the. So this is it's already he's a purified Brahmana. This again proved. And then his parents named him Vimala Prasad. So why Vimala Prasad? So basically when you offer food to Lord Jagannath, it is prasadam. Okay. When you take it back, it is prasadam. But in Jagannath Puri, what they do, that prasadam, after Lord Jagannath eats it, they take the prasadam and offer it to Vimala Devi. Vimala Devi is Parvati Devi. Okay, so she also resides in Puri itself. When that prasadam is given to Vimala Devi, she eats it, and when she eats it, it becomes Mahaprasadam. Okay, when Jagannath eats food, it is just prasadam, and that same prasadam is fed to Vimala Devi, and then it becomes Mahaprasadam. That's why in Puri the Mahaprasadam is very famous, right? 56 varieties of Mahaprasadam every day. 56 items will be offered to the Lord every single day. Chappan Bhog, it's very famous, and Vimala Devi. She eats it, and then only it becomes Mahaprasadam. So, Vimala Prasad, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, when he was a baby, first, it's called Annaprashan ceremony, right? The first time the baby is fed with grains, it's a ceremony. So that in that ceremony, they offered their parents fed him with directly from the temple. They bought Mahaprasadam, grains Mahaprasadam, and fed him. It's called Vimala Devi's Mahaprasadam. So that is one reason why his name is Vimala Prasad. And also the other reason is, I told you, whatever is touched by Vimala Devi, it becomes Mahaprasadam. Right? So Jagannath gave him the baby, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. But if he is supposed to become Mahaprasad, it should be through Vimala Devi. So that is also one of the interpretation why his name is Vimala Prasad. It's not Jagannath Prasad, it's Vimala Prasad. That's how they name him, right? And then another instance. So instances after instances right in his childhood itself, keep happening, where to prove the fact that he is not an ordinary person. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is a guru of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is an exalted person, and a guru of Prabhupada, can you imagine how much more exalted a person should be, right? So he was just 6 months old. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was just 6 months old. He was a baby. He was an infant, and Ratha Yatra was happening in Puri. Okay, so even today it's very famous. Like you're seeing in the picture, it's very famous. So many people come there, right? So because Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Bhakti Saraswati's father, was a magistrate, he was a VIP, right? Big person. So those days the rathas were passed through, taken to the houses of these, in front of the houses of such VIPs, big people, big great personalities, and then they would be, taken around the city. So same way, Bhakti Siddhanta, he's a magistrate, Bhaktivinoda Thakura. So the rathas came near his house, stood there for some time, and then they will be taken away, right? But what happened? The rathas came there and stood and it's not moving now. People are pulling, trying their level best to pull. It's not moving. And people brought elephants and so many elephants to move the ratha. It's not moving. Jagannath just does not want to go away from that place, right? So same way, even Baladev and Subhadra also do not want to go away. They are all just standing there. Okay, so nobody understood why they are standing, why they don't want to go, and they were all puzzled. Everybody was puzzled. And it's not just one day, it was 3 days. 3 days went through, and they are just not moving. Day and night they are standing there, Jagannath, Subhadra, and Baladev. So now suddenly on the third day, Bhaktivinoda Thakura's wife got this thought in mind. Okay, anyway, the Jagannath is standing here. Why don't I get my son and help him? Make him get the blessings of Lord Jagannath. So she went inside. She brought the baby infant. She carried him in her hands, and she lifted him up. So because you can see in the picture, right? Jagannath is inside the ratha and it's on top. So here people need to lift, and then give it to the people inside the ratha, and they will take the kid to the deity. So when she lifted, and when the infant reached the ratha, you can see his hands automatically, his arms automatically stretched far, to an extent where he could touch the lotus feet of Jagannath and take the blessings. And he's an infant. He's stretching his arms. Can you imagine? That means he's not an ordinary person, right? Everybody was astonished to see that. He's stretching his arms, and his arms are like, how much ever he's stretching, his arms are getting elongated to touch the feet of the Lord. Okay, that is one reason. One more instance that proved the fact. And the moment he touched his lotus feet, the garland from Jagannath's neck fell around Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Another instance that proved that it was because to bless Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati that Jagannath was standing there. He didn't want to go without blessing Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He is waiting for days together. It was 3 days and he was still waiting, right? So how many people tried to move him? Nobody could move him. Even today, this is there. Okay, so rathas, when they go across the city, suddenly in some place they stop, and how much ever they move, people try to move the rathas, they do not move. Okay, they just stop. Even today this happens, and after some time automatically, when they just without effort they will pull, and the rathas start moving. Okay, so this happens even today. Nobody knows the reason why it stops. Nobody knows the reason why again they are moving. It's all Jagannath's Leela. Okay, so Jagannath is the most merciful incarnation of Kali Yuga. If you see how merciful he is, the form itself tells us how merciful he is. He has no eyelids and eyelashes, no eyelids, because he doesn't want to close his eyes. He always constantly wants to see his devotees, whoever comes to him. Even if you don't see him, it's okay, but he is seeing us with his large open eyes. No, that merciful he is, and he easily reciprocates. Jagannath, because Jagannath is Vipralambha Bhav, right? We already discussed the glories of Jagannath. Why Jagannath, Subhadra, and Baladev are there in Jagannath Puri? We already discussed the story. He is in Vipralambha Bhav, so extremely merciful. He reciprocates to your feelings very easily, your prayers very easily. So if you go to Jagannath Puri once and come back, you will see the effect. Your progress in your anything. It could be chanting, it could be anything. The relationship that you have with the Lord gets enhanced when you go to Jagannath Puri. He's very, very merciful. So this happened. So this again, everybody understood. Okay, so he's not an ordinary person. Okay, then one more thing what happened was the bhog. Okay, so so it's every Vaishnava in every Vaishnava's house. It's a culture, right? We first offer bhog to the Lord and then we take it as prasadam. So same thing happened here. Once what happened, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, that is Vimla Prasad's dad, cut mango pieces, okay, cut mango and kept it in a plate. And Vimala Prasad came, ate the mangoes. He could not, he didn't confirm whether it was already offered to the Lord or not. He just ate. He thinking that it is already offered. He thought it's already prasadam and he ate it off. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakura came running and he said, "My son, what did you do? Right? It's still not offered to the Lord. You ate it off." And then Vimala Prasad felt very bad. He started crying. He felt so depressed, and he was like, "Oh, what? It was not offered to the Lord yet. I offended the Lord. How can I do this?" Right? He became the offender of the Lord. So that's why he took up a vow that entire life he did not eat mangoes. Entire lifetime he did not eat mangoes. And so that's why bhog offering, no, it's always, it's not for our sense gratification we offer food to the Lord. It's for Krishna that we should be offering food to the Lord. It's not that, okay, you think about something comes in your mind, rasagulla, you want to eat rasagullas. And what do? You go make rasagullas, or you buy rasagullas, whatever it is, and you go offer it to the Lord. No, it's not because you want to eat that you offer it to the Lord just to cleanse it, cleanse your karma, and then eat it. What is Krishna? Karma purifying agent? No, no, he's not karma purifying agent. He is Lord. He's first of all, we should stop looking at Krishna as Vigraha. He's not just a deity, standing in our altar. What is he? He is a person. He is a living person. Purushottama, right? Krishna is Purushottama. He is a living person. So we cannot use a living person to our advantage, right? Can you do that at home? Do you do that to your family members? Do you do that to your friends? Do you use them for your sense gratification? No, then why Krishna? Right? So when something comes to your mind, when some food dish comes to your mind, or when you want to eat something, take it this way. Krishna wants to eat it, so he's put that thought in your mind. Because if you don't prepare and offer to the Lord, how will he eat, right? So that's why indirectly, through you, he wants to eat. That's why he's put that thought in your heart. Okay. So that way you need to think, cook whatever comes to your mind, and tasty food, offer it to him because he wants to eat, and then you eat it as prasadam. That's the attitude. That is supposed to be the consciousness. Not because we want to eat, we go and offer. Sometimes they prepare food and then say they prepare food at like 11 o'clock, 11:30, 12 o'clock at home, but they have lunch only at 2:30 p.m. So when they eat food, no, when they sit for eating, that time they take like 2:15, 2 o'clock, 2:15, they take and offer it to the Lord, and then immediately bring it, mix it, and eat as prasadam. What does that mean? That means you want to eat, but you don't want to eat bhoga. You should eat prasadam. So because of that, you are going and offering Krishna. So when you want to eat, you are offering Krishna. You're making Krishna eat, right? That's not the way. That's not the attitude. We need to first make sure Krishna is fed well. When he wants, we need to feed him when he wants to eat, right? Not when we want to eat. So we need to offer him as soon as the food is cooked, hot, and then you eat whenever you want. That is not an issue. Okay, so we should not use Krishna's or bhog offering or anything as such for our advantage. It is for the Lord. Out of love we need to do, out of respect we need to do. Okay, so there are a lot of incidents that proves that Krishna is not just a vigraha. It's a living incident. He's a living person. He's a living person standing in the temple. Okay, so Prabhupada he established 108 temples, ISKCON temples, right? We all know that. So he went, he used to go to the ISKCON centers and just to check how the temple is running, how things are going on. He used to not ask temple management people there. He would not ask any brahmacharis. He would not ask them only. He would directly, go to the deities and start talking to the deities. He would directly start talking to the deities, and he would be like, how are you? How is everything going? Are you fed properly and all? And then deities would talk back, respond to him in words, reciprocate. And once what happened, Krishna told, he went and asked the deity, how are you? How are you fed and all? Krishna told, no, I'm not fed well. I'm fed just 3 times a day. You asked them to feed me 6 times a day. I'm fed only 3 times a day. So Prabhupada immediately went to the brahmacharis and asked, why are you feeding? I heard that you are feeding the deities only 3 times a day. Why? Then those brahmacharis were like, how did Prabhupada get to know? Right? So then Prabhupada was like, I know. Deities told me. And then they were like, no, there were a lot of activities to be done and very less people. We had to do the decorations, deity decoration, cooking, right? Conduct classes, read Bhagavad Gita, chant, do the Sankirtan. So many things are there, very less people. That's why we cut out an offering to the Lord 6 times, but we will do that. So this way, Prabhupada used to have a personal connect with the deities. Same thing is possible. So how is it possible for us? We need to first stop looking at the deity in the altar as a deity. It's not vigraha. It's him. Look at him as him. Okay, call him Krishna. Krishna is standing. Krishna is eating. Right? Krishna is drinking water. So that way we have to call him Krishna. If you have a Krishna, Radha Krishna picture at home, stop calling it picture. Say Krishna, Radha Krishna again. Radha Krishna are there. Looking at me. I am looking at Radha Krishna. So that way you get a personal connect with the Lord. And then, and this is another very mysterious incident. Okay, there was a temple, there is a temple, and there deity worship was done in a very lavish manner. Lot of food was offered to the Lord. They were well fed, so much well fed that once what happened, the dress, we dress up the deities, right? And the dress which the pujari used for the deities, say a couple of years ago or 1 year ago, he took the same dress and wanted to decorate the dress the deities with the same dress. He's trying to put in the dress. It's not fitting the deities. That means what? So much well-fed the deities were. They put on weight, and now the dress is not fitting the deities. Can you imagine? So it is all in the bhav, how you look at the vigraha, how you look at Krishna, right? It's in the bhav. I think I already shared this incident. There's one more incident, Laddu Gopal incident, where there was a woman who was taking care of Laddu Gopal like her very own son. Okay, and once what happened, she was looking at him just like son, always treating him like son, like living son. Once what happened, she could understand that the Laddu Gopal got fever. Laddu Gopal got fever. Can you imagine when she touched Laddu Gopal, the temperature was high, and this happened, and she stopped eating. She was so worried that fever is not decreasing, and doctor came. Okay, the lady's daughter-in-law brought a doctor, and doctor came, went into the altar. You know what he experienced? So much the vibrations of that lady was that he is a living son. The doctor, as soon as he put his stethoscope on the DT, Laddu Gopal, he could hear the heartbeat. He could hear the heartbeat of the Laddu Gopal. Okay, he got astonished, he got stunned. He didn't know what to do. For a moment, he got that mind paralysis. He didn't know what he was doing, what was happening. Because it is so astonishing, right? He just went off. He actually initially he got scared and he went off. What is happening? How can DT have heartbeat? Right? So it is all in the bhav we look at, Krishna. So never consider them to be just vigraha or just some picture. They are them. Look at them as them. Okay, that is one lesson we all have to take back, because this is how most of the people are offering bhoga. Bhoga is not offered for us, for ourselves. Bhoga is offered for Krishna. So we need to understand and offer it in that attitude. Okay, attendance link today, no attendance form. I will be automatically marking your attendance from our end. We will be doing it. Okay, back end. So yeah, now coming to the details about the childhood of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He was 6 years old. His father gave him kurma deities to worship. So if you see, Prabhupada had Radha Krishna deities to worship, right? Small toy deities. And he here kurma deities, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati worship. So this is the footstep we all have to follow in. Giving our children not Barbie dolls or Superman and all that. Give them deities. Small soft toys you get, Radha Krishna soft toys and other soft toys, Jagannath soft toys. You can give them. Jagannath, it's a cute wooden toys you get in Puri if you go in any ISKCON centers. Take them and give them to the kids in your house, children. So that develops a personal attachment with the Lord. They get very, friendly, and they establish a relationship with the Lord. So it's very, important. That's like a part of sadhana process. Here, his father gave him kurma deity, and he, worshipped them when he was young, when he was a kid. 7 years old, he memorized the entire Bhagavad Gita and could even explain its verses. Can you imagine? That's why he's called Lion Guru. He's a scholarly personality. And his father then began him training in proofreading and printing, in conjunction with the publishing of Vaishnava magazine, Sajjana Toshini, which was on Lord Chaitanya's teachings. Okay, so very soon, because he was so scholarly, he could read Bhagavad Gita, memorize and all. His father gave him what? Proofing and printing. Okay, so attendance will be recorded at the end of the class. So please don't, change your names or anything as such. I will take a, record of it, account of it. Okay. Yeah, so his father began training proofreading and all that, and training him in proofreading so that they could print more and more scriptures on Lord Chaitanya's teachings, because we already discussed that the teachings had lost their meaning, the real essence. So it was high time for them to bring them back. That's why they started Vaishnava magazine, Sajjana Toshini. And then, with his father, he visited many holy places and heard discourses from learned pandits. So this is how he became scholar. How did he get that scholarly personality? The persona was he heard a lot. He developed a lot of knowledge by meeting a lot of big panditas and senior Vaishnavas. He also traveled a lot of to a lot of holy places. When we travel to holy places, we cleanse ourselves, and when we hear discourses from great learned people, acharyas, then our consciousness becomes cleansed, and we will be able to capture the signs of Krishna consciousness more easily. And at the age of 10, while attending the Serampore Missionary School, he was initiated by his father into the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and a Narasimha Deva mantra. So his father was his first guru who taught him the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's when he started chanting. 10 years old and he started chanting. right? I didn't even know what was Hare Krishna Mahamantra when I was 10 years old. Right? So that's how it is. He was a blessed personality. And then as a student, Vimala Prasad preferred to read books written by his father instead of school textbooks. Right? He was in school studying, but then his inclination was always towards scriptures, not textbooks. Textbooks teach you material things, and that too all half and half truth. Right? But if you read scriptures, Bhagavatam has answers to all our questions. Right? We don't need to learn anything else if we learn Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So that Vimala Prasad knew right when he was a student. See how great he was. And then 16 years old, formed a society who took a vow to remain celibate throughout their life. He formed a society with people who can remain unmarried throughout their life, brahmachari, celibate. But out of all those people, only Vimala Prasad could succeed. Vimala Prasad, throughout his life, like Bhishma, remained a celibate. He never got married. Okay. All others gave up, but only he took it up. He took up a vow, right? He will not eat mangoes for the rest of his life. He didn't break that. He followed that. Same way, this celibacy vow also he didn't break. He followed. See what kind of determination he has, right? So today's lesson is that determination. Vimala Prasad is known. His name is synonymous with strong determination, not giving up, not breaking the promises he made to himself and to Krishna at any cost, whatever happens. Right. And 1983, he joined the college. He was most brilliant student of the class, but immediately he dropped out. Why? Like I already told you, school textbooks teach us material things, right? And half, they are not even complete, right? Because Bhagavatam, according to Vedic geography, the cosmic energy, the cosmic situation, the arrangement, it's not that sun is fixed in one position and all the planets revolve around the sun. This is what we learnt in school. But Bhagavatam clearly says sun also moves. Sun also moves. Uttarayan, Dakshinayan. Why do we say Uttarayan, Dakshinayan? When the sun moves towards the the north direction, it is Uttarayan. When sun moves towards the south direction, it is Dakshinayan. Yes. So how is sun fixed in a position? Right? Certainly not. So all this proves that even modern scientists are still exploring. Even our school textbooks cannot give us complete knowledge. He realized that long ago and he quit college. Right? Because he wanted to get into real knowledge, not this material knowledge. Okay, and then and in 1895 he accepted service offered by King of Tripura. So he joined a job sort of a thing. Okay, where he is a writer. He's a philosopher. He's a writer. He wanted to pursue his profession also in that field, literature field. When you read a lot of books and his father also trained him in proofreading and all that, right? So definitely, his profession. Anybody who's done that, they tend to take up a writing profession itself. Same way, Vimla Prasad worked with Tripura, king of Tripura, and writing their history of that royal family. So, king of Tripura gave him an opportunity to get involved in the studies also because he had a library. So, Vimala Prasad wanted to continue his spiritual studies. For that, he wanted proper facilities. So, king of Tripura offered that by giving him their library and all that. Okay, this continued for 10 years. And later he resigned. When he thought, okay, he reached a position where, he does not need anymore to maintain himself materially, but devote his entire self to the Lord. He resigned. And then he granted pension. And the king of Tripura gave him pension. Initially, he was taking the pension. Later, he rejected the pension also. He completely understood that material way of life will not take us anywhere, and he wanted to realize that, as in he wanted to practically implement that. So he stopped accepting pension also going forward. Okay, then now, so this all happened even before he was 26 years old. Can you imagine? Now he's 26 years, so matured at that time itself, right? Now he's 26 and his father, instructed him to take sannyas initiation. So his father gave him Harinam initiation. That is the initial level. Going forward, his father instructed him to go to Gaur Kishori Das Babaji to take sannyas initiation from him. Okay, he was a Vaishnava saint. And then Gaur Kishori Das Babaji is the one who instructed Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati to preach about the absolute truth. The Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Okay, by pausing everything else, stop doing whatever you're doing, take up the sincere, preaching mission and preach, because we all discussed already that it was high time for people to understand the real instructions of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. I mean, real instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as they were, without any adulteration. So that's why Gaura Kishori Das Babaji was like, it's a need of a need of the hour. You have to take up this mission, leave everything else aside, and go start doing it. Right, and Bhakti and also Gaura Kishore Das Babaji is the disciple of Bhakti Vinod Thakura. Okay, so this is how the succession is. Bhakti Vinod Thakura. Bhakti Vinod Thakura's disciple is Gaura Kishore Das Babaji. Gaura Kishore Das Babaji's disciple is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And Bhakti Vinod Thakura is father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Okay, this is how the chain is. Now receiving the blessings from Gaura Kishore Das Babaji, Vimala Prasad, also called as now Siddhanta Saraswati. After getting sannyas, his name changes, right? Even Prabhupada. It was Abhay Charan. After he got the sannyas Diksha, what his name became? A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, right? Same way, his name was Vimala Prasad. After sannyas Diksha, it became Siddhanta Saraswati, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Okay, now dedicated. We already know determination of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati about his celibate vow, mango vow and all. So we know how determinant he was. And he dedicated his body, mind and words to the service of Lord Krishna just to fulfill the instruction of his Gurudev. Prabhupada went to America at the age of 70 to fulfill again the instructions given by his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati dedicated his entire self just to fulfill the instructions given by Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, his guru there, right? So there are, so here you can see he was resolved to dedicate his body, mind, and words to service of the Lord, right? So there are 6 levels of devoting ourselves to the Lord. In one of the commentaries, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura explains this. Okay, so what are those 6 levels? First is we devote our time. Okay, we chant. We might be chanting. We might be hearing. We might be reading scriptures. We might be going to the temple. We might be doing all these things. But we don't do it with our heart, right? We just do it. When we chant, we think about something else. You are in your office. You are at home in your room chanting, but mind goes to office. Mind goes to outside relative's house. Mind goes to the living room. You might be in your room, but your mind will be in living room. Right? So many thoughts. So we are not putting our mind and heart and doing it. We are just doing it because that's how we all start, right? That means what? Only thing you are dedicating or devoting at that point of time, at that stage is time, right? You are chanting 16 rounds, say you're chanting. So 2 hours, you are giving 2 hours. How quality your rounds are? Let's not talk about it because we are not qualified to talk about quality at this point. We are just doing it for the sake of it. So that's how we start, by dedicating our time. First, we devote our time. Next, we devote our years. Okay, as in more and more time we devote to the Lord, you will start understanding that you want to learn more and more about Krishna or anything from the senior Vaishnavas who know about the cult, who are preachers themselves, so that when you hear all these things from a Vaishnava, your spirit to become a Vaishnava also gets multiplied. You can get inspiration, draw inspiration from them. Okay, so you hear more and more. You get a taste for hearing. You'll be like initially, who will read? I will hear. Hearing is easy. So you hear. Okay, so first thing time, second thing hearing. You devote your ears. Third thing, what do you devote? You devote tongue. When you constantly hear from senior Vaishnavas, you'll be like, okay, now I'm getting knowledge, yes, but I want to read, dig deep, delve deep into these concepts and understand it myself. So that curiosity leads you to reading the scriptures page by page, word by word, and your chanting also increases. You will use your tongue to chant more, read more, and when you read more and more, what happens? You also become well versed in the scriptures, and now you want to preach, right? And you start with your family members, maybe telling somebody in your house, your mother, your husband, your wife, right, about Krishna Katha that you just read. So this way you engage your tongue in devotion service. right? So time, ears, tongue. After that, what do you devote? And you eat prasadam also. That way you engage your tongue. Next, you devote your mind. When you chant, now you've reached a level where you can consciously chant. When you're getting some thought in your mind, you know you're getting thoughts. So you pause yourself, chuck away that thought, and continue. Bring your mind back to concentration on the chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? This way we devote our mind, and you think about Krishna. You'll be like, okay, what to cook for Krishna today? Okay, what to read today? What to preach today? So this way you think about Krishna. So that way you're devoting your mind. After you devote your mind, what do you devote? Heart. Now, so far you were doing it for the sake of it, sadhana level. Now you devote your heart. You do it out of love. Okay. You. Now it's like, no, I'm not doing it because my spiritual master is instructing me to do. I'm doing it because I want to do it out of love, to please the Lord, to make Krishna smile, right? To make Krishna happy. I will do. This is how you devote your heart. 5 levels done. Next level is this Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's level, devoting our mind, body, and words to the Lord. Manasa Vacha Karmana, you devote yourself to the service of the Lord. You become a full-time devotee of the Lord. You might be engaged in 1000 material activities. Only to the outside world it looks material. To you, you are very clear about your consciousness. You are doing it for the Lord. Okay, so this way what happens, you can engage your mind, body, and words. Manasa Vacha Karmana, you become a full-time devotee, full-fledged devotee of the Lord. These are 6 levels of surrendering or devoting ourselves to the Lord. And so you can self-assess where you stand. We can so always spirituality, nobody can come and tell you you stand here, because it's related to spirit, right? Only you and Paramatma can decide where you stand, right? So it's always self-assessing. Based on all these principles, we assess ourselves where we stand. Okay. Yes. Hare Krishna. We end here in today's class. Tomorrow, next class, we will go delve deeper, understand the glories of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Okay. Any questions? Please, again, I'm repeating, breaking fast is very important. It's not about taking up the fast on Ekadashi. Anybody can do it. But taking it on Ekadashi, Dwadashi within the parent time, it's very, very important. Otherwise, Ekadashi fasting will not be considered. It will not be counted as vrata. That's why most scriptures say it's, give Ekadashi fasting, they mention it as Dwadashi vrata. They don't say Ekadashi vrata. Okay. Please, parent time, check your Vaishnava calendar. If you've not downloaded it yet, please download.